I don't. Yeah. Thank you.
Let's start.
So let me have the privilege of the next Unleashing India National Reincarnation Series. This should be the 74th session. We started somewhere in May end, and without a break, every week twice, we have been bringing subject of relevance for national reincarnation. Now, we call it reincarnation because this is this is post-COVID. Now, COVID has brought many of us to the knees, and we are trying to ensure that, let me, just a minute, let me, yeah. Today's topic is of great relevance from a very different perspective. The perspective is enhanced role for quest for cosmic identity through innovation in technology and spiritual emancipation for national reincarnation. A very complex topic, and the presentation for the same is going to be given by equally complex and highly knowledgeable two professors, and they have done immense work. I will introduce them. Before that, I'll just run through a small few slides, which is of importance. Now, when we are talking of post-COVID, we are talking of national reincarnation. We have to understand what is India is. Why do we call it reincarnation? Now, India is absolutely a complex country. India is a huge country having the second largest population in the world. And now where the population comes with respect to the cosmic identity is also very interesting, because we are growing at the rate of almost 20 million people per annum. And this 20 million people who are born few years back have to be accommodated in terms of job, in terms of food, in terms of security, in terms of economic growth, everything. And that multiplies in a very, very big way. Today, we got independence as a 350 million country, and today we are 1.4 billion, almost 300% more. So with respect to other aspects, yes, India is a large country, 1.2, almost 3 million square kilometers, and it has got 1,300 islands. It has got EEZ, exclusive economic zone, which is the zone above the water, which is also very big. And now, many of these things, as you know, we are talking post-COVID, means what is COVID? COVID is something which is very small, invisible, indivisible, but something which has broken the country's economy, country's prosperity, country's growth, and it has brought us to the knees. That's why we call it World War III, without any thing being fired, anything being destroyed physically, but destroyed morally. And not even 1% of the population is affected. And still it looks like, almost 100% is affected. There's so much of fear, and all brought in by thanks to media, thanks to World Health Organization, and thanks to the fact that we couldn't take care of ourselves. At the same time, if you see in the other aspect, we have taken care of ourselves in the best possible way. We have been the worst affected country, but we are the best revived or relieved country. Now, today's thing is on Cosmos, which I will not go through this slide because there's a very interesting slide and video which is being presented by today's experts. So this is just to know that, something of a much elaborate nature on how cosmic things will propagate our lifestyle is going to be discussed by two experts. I have Professor Vijay. He is a global expert in knowledge. Any part of knowledge, he's a man who knows. Any field, I know him, of course, for last almost 35 years when he was the MD of Konkan Corporation. He had risen to a highest post in government. Today, Director General of MET, a very prestigious education institution. But more than that, he's doing a lot of things in Bombay. In terms of Bombay universities, he's there in every second good committees, good board of studies, and anything to do with knowledge sharing, anything to do with new ideas, anything to do with anything innovation, Professor Page is there. Along with him, Dr. Farida Virani. She is an enlightened motivational speaker. She is also one of those who is for internationally known figure for conflict resolution. She's a very complex and very different field. She is a very good human resources person, and she's a well sought after speaker. So we'd also like to hear her speak in terms of the way she would like this to be presented. So this particular presentation will start with Professor Page, and then they both will share the. They also have an interesting video, which will I'm sure keep us interested. So before they start, let me only give one more small statement that when we talk of cosmic and others, people may feel this is too advanced, too scientific and all. We should know its importance because today human race is going above its boundary in terms of scientific progress. Our own Indian Space Research Organization is among the best in the world. It's almost the top 3. And with this population growing up, there could be a combination of two, where maybe we may have to look for really the space outside the world. We also believe, which I'm sure Farida will explain, that maybe outside aliens have come to the world and all. So we may also be aliens who may go outside the world, not only for adventure, maybe as a compulsion to keep much of our born people in some place which would find, yeah, it's not, I'm talking of next 50, 100 years. I'm not talking of tomorrow. But that may be a need. By the time the population also will grow to a very big level, scientific advancement also will grow. And people like Farida are there to guide people how to advance this technology and the manpower requirement for this. So let me invite Professor Page. Let him start, and then both will share the screen.
Thank you very much, sir.
Slides are visible, sir?
Yes, yes, fully visible.
Thank you very much, sir. Dr. Shekhar, Professor Haq, who is there, good wishes to him also. At the outset, I just wish to compliment you for the 74th successive webinar that you are holding. I think you are approaching both the Guinnesses as well as the Limca records as far as webinars are concerned. Because in these difficult times, to get speakers, to get connectivity, and to make them share ideas is a very tall order. You have done it, so my heartiest compliments to you and Mr. Haq, sir. Also, you hardly took any time. By the time I had sent you a paper and a partly idiotic poem, you immediately called me up and said, when can we speak? So thank you very much, sir. I only wish to record that among the thousands of webinars held in the last 1 year, you are the only one who has thought about cosmos. So my compliments to you. And I'm looking for cosmic policy times the next time we are here. This is just a prayer. I'm thanking you very much for this. So to begin with the presentation here, I would submit that nowadays, somehow people have lost the cosmos in their thought process. I just came across a poet who said 2 lines, and I just want to share that with you. कौन कहता है आकाश में सुराख नहीं होता? कौन कहता है आकाश में सुराख नहीं होता? एक पत्थर तो तबीयत से उछालो यारो, एक पत्थर तो तबीयत से उछालो यारो. I'm grateful to the poet because he has brought back the cosmos in the poetic vision, which I thought, and Madam, we always say, after Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, they have stopped composing poetry on stars. It's a very sad affair. It is the stars have gone out in Hollywood. Nowhere else they are available, which is a very sad state, and that has brought us to think about this subject. And going ahead, what we are feeling that the existing perception of STEM, science, technology, is at the core of space studies. However, we find that it takes many professions, many backgrounds. It's a multidisciplinary area, the cosmos, and everybody has to put his or her ideas and thoughts to work, because all the work in cosmos in the earlier stages was done by philosophers, was done by educationalists, was done by geologists of all the persons, and geologists were connected with veterinarians. But that is how the link is. So everybody has to link in. And with that point of view, myself and Madam, we thought we could bring up this topic of cosmic identity. What do you feel, Madam?
We always talk about a rich dividend because of the youth of our nation. But it's also very important that we have to make sure that the direction the youth takes is also something that we prescribe in terms of how we are going to utilize their talent and their energies. And as educationists, as people who are, really worried about our future, and also making sure that this part of the policy of India also needs to be enacted in such a way that we just don't look at the commercial world, the global world, but we also look beyond it. And that's the reason why we are here, both educationists, but with a wide, range of competencies that we have through our years. So right now we are looking at this one objective also, where we are looking at perhaps injecting this learning of the cosmos, of the universe, in the minds of our generations, be it from PG, KG, where you start ingraining these aspects to them, so that their thought processes grow as they grow. The creativity, innovation, the thinking also grows as they grow beyond PhD and to the levels where they are entrepreneurs. So if Elon Musk can do it, why can't any of us do it? So that's where we are, looking at injecting this energy.
Thank you, madam. And it's with this thought that we are driven, that we came over and requested you for a webinar. Well, as we go ahead, the presentation would be broadly in three parts. In the first part, I would try to present the cosmos as we all know it. And then madam would take over and explain the human resource part. And in the last session, we would work about the congruence, how the two meet, and then where do we go from here. So if you look at the cosmos, we got to start from solar system, which is unique, as we all know, that 4 billion years ago, the first earth rocks were formed. 0.4 billion years ago, the green plants came after the last destruction. And 2.3 billion years ago, the hominids came. In the planetary system, we have 4 rocky planets near the sun, including us, and 4 icy and gas planets, which are away from it. There are 4 dwarf planets over and above that, 182 moons, 6.5 lakh asteroids. And asteroids are between what we call Mars and Jupiter, and comets are from outer space. So the whole positioning of Earth as we see it, being at number 3, as we cricket, we say 1 down batsman. In cosmos also, we are exactly 1 down. So very unique place. The Jupiter and Saturn protect us from one side. The Venus and Mercury protects us as far as the temperatures are concerned, and we are ideally protected. That's where the niche position of the Earth comes into picture. As we go to the next slide, we have, as we mentioned, the Earth is at the sweet spot. Even then, even though we are at the sweet spot, we have been living dangerously. There have been asteroid hits, there have been comet hits, and if you look at it, because of the positioning of Earth, majority punishment has been taken by Mars and other icy planets, while those closer to the sun have taken the other part of the punishment. But still, there have been major 5 extinctions in history. They have a cyclic pattern, which I will explain later. And the cycling are 27 to 29, 32 million years and 66 billion years. The last of it, of course, was 66 million years ago. Prior to that, we had 250, 50, and 380 and 440. So 5 major extinctions have hurt us. The last one hurting the most, which eliminated the dinosaurs. And they say we are ready for the 6th extinction. Are we ready for it? That's the question that I wish to submit. Are we ready for the 6th extinction? Well, if you go to the solar system further, we are, at the present moment, we are battling the virus. We have had the ozone layer problem and we set it right. We had the tracking down of boson, Higgins boson at the Colon hydrocolloid at the Swiss border. We have taken a Mars exploration. We're working on pollution control. We're working on asteroid and comet monitoring. The NASA Voyager craft is now almost entering the Oort's cloud. There is an effort of climate control and CO2 and protection from elemental fuel. All these steps which we have taken for preservation of Earth, for our sustainability, have brought us to a new area. That there are 5 elements as far as the solar system is concerned. Therefore, the man, the human, becomes the 6th element. to protect us from the destruction of 5 elements. So as far as the solar system is concerned, we are there. As far as protecting these humans are concerned, we have taken the steps. And I believe we have now won a rightful place as far as solar system is concerned of being the 6th element. We go further, we find that in the Milky Way, of which we are a part, there again, the Milky Way was a part, originated from the Big Bang 13.8 billion years ago. First galaxy was born 12 billion years ago. Milky Way was born 9 billion years ago. And there is, in the disk that we have 6 major neighbors. The temperature out is minus 2.7 K, which is almost 300, 400 degrees below zero, and it is totally dark. But in this Milky Way galaxy again, our solar system is at a niche. It is at the outer arm, just beyond the arms, because the core of the galaxy, the core of Milky Way is a black hole, and all the stars are emerging and exploding all the time. So we are in a very niche spot as far as the solar system is concerned. We are in a niche spot as far as the galaxy or Milky Way is concerned. We have a unique example of crowdsourcing. 84,000 people got together, amateurs, and they produced, by studying the skies, what is called the galactic soup. And 300,000 galaxies were identified by them. A tremendous direction that one can take if people want it. They were not astronauts. They're simply lovers of the astronomy subject. And they have done that. And we have 2 unique features. The stars and systems which are going away are red, and those who are approaching us are blue shifting. That is how the speed of expansion of galaxy is identified. And the massive black hole at the core holds the system together. The unique characteristic of Milky Way, which also results in our destruction, is the fact that as it is surrounding the galactic plane and the galactic center, the Milky Way takes about 220 to 250 billion years to complete one circuit, one round of the solar system, of the entire universe. In that 250 million years, it is also not traveling straight because of the galactic gravity matters. There is what is called the oscillation, like a horse riding. And as I have shown here, it is these oscillations of the Milky Way which cause disturbance on the Earth. Because when it reaches the universal imaginary plane, the power, the density of and the gravity of the system is reduced. So therefore, it interacts. There is also a feeling that at the center of the universe, there is what is known as the dark matter disk. So that interacts with the Milky Way, which in turn interacts with our solar system, pushing the comets at the outer cloud. From there, they come back to Earth, like the one that we had. So there is this connection between oscillation. There is this 26 million, 30 million cycle. Some people say that we have just missed it. Some people say, no, we are waiting for it. So we are hoping that we have missed it, in which case we have 26 billion years to find out. Otherwise, the oscillation is round the corner. And that is what determines what are known as extinctions on the Earth. This is just a picture of the universe, a pictorial, how 13.8 billion years ago the Big Bang took place, and gradually the stars got formed, because initially the temperatures were too high. As the temperatures cooled down and the hydrogen and helium atoms, nucleus were formed, slowly the stars started getting formed, and we were formed, as I mentioned, about 4 billion years ago, at an opportune time when the temperatures had come down, and the cars and the Earth and the universe was slowing down. We were born at the right place, and as it cooled further, the stars and the systems on the Milky Way, and therefore our solar system got evolved. So there again, there is this matter of extinction cycle linked with it. There is triggering of comets, and what have we? We are waiting for the dark disk, if and when it is there, when we approach the oscillation for the next annihilation. This is a picture of the galactic map as we know, and as we can see here in the extreme left corner is what we call the Milky Way. But here again, the Milky Way is in a safe zone, just like the solar system is a safe zone in our galaxy. This is in a safe zone way corner. All the complicated black holes and explosions are at the core of the universe, and we are luckily protected from that. There again, the galactic zoo with what is known as the local group, the 6 galaxies. There are 100,000 galaxies in the supercluster. The galactic zoo, which has been identified by them, has something unique to offer. And the composition of the universe as it is settled now, matter, that is atoms are 4.6%, dark energy is 71%, and dark matter is 24%. The expanding universe, the reason for expanding universe without the mass is the question that is facing all the astronomers today. And as we move further, the answers to that will have to be found out. So what is this universe about? The universe is totally dark. We are all in search of light, because light indicates a star or a system which is alive. If you consider universe like a sack, as somebody has said, there are only photons. There is a CBR, the cosmic background radiation. This is the radiation which is the leftover of the Big Bang. It is converted into CBR, and we are tracking that. As we are tracking the photons, we are tracking the CBR. It is the static which helped us identify the origin of the Big Bang. As the stardust, the explosion, the stardust is created at 25 per cubic meter. 0.25 per cubic meter is the stardust which you are in here. And as Madam would explain, therefore we are a part of stardust. It's very much there. The cosmic particle photon travel takes 12 billion years of getting some signature. As we found, that there is a symmetry in galaxy, there is a symmetry in the universe. So that on one side of universe, if there are certain galaxies formed in a fashion, so are on the other side. So this symmetry is what is unique. At the subatomic particle level, there is supersymmetry. So whether we start from Earth, our solar system, to the Milky Way, to the universe, there is symmetry all along. Everywhere, with human beings at 5%, 95%, matter at 5%, and dark matter energy at 95%. That is tremendous. The Earth being located at a sweet spot, the Milky Way being located at a sweet spot, and eventually we managed to protect ourselves as if by luck for last 66 billion years. Then the last one was taken up. The future therefore is that last 50-year studies have revealed that the behavior of subatomic particles can be trapped only in one word, that is the quantum. So what we find at the nuclear level, subatomic level, is also the nature of the universe. Because the universe also operates at the quantum level. As clearly it says, you are at two places at the same time, and the whole movement is an illusion. There are long experiments, and there are experiments with Schrodinger's cat, which will take an hour to explain. So my appeal here, my presentation here, that the empty space is not empty. There is dark matter energy. There is creation of stars, and death is defined by the quantum theory. There is a Chandrasekhar limit, which says that if the mass is more than 1.4 times that of the sun, it will develop into a bigger star, into supernova. A smaller one will become a white dwarf and a black hole. This is the great work of Dr. Chandrasekhar. And on entire work in the universe is now being looked at from this point of view. As I complete my presentation here as far as the universe is concerned, the quantum links the human being with the solar system. The solar systems, subatomic particles link up with the universe. They are all following a pattern. There is all symmetry. They are all in a niche place. As just like we are waiting for universe is waiting for us. And over to Madam to take over and explain the human resource element. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So to begin with, like how Shekhar sir has mentioned, we are both academicians. We do not claim to be astrophysicists. We do not claim to be astronomers. We are academicians. We are professionals who care about the tomorrow of our country, and that's the reason why we are here. So with that, let me take you through what I have understood about the universe, the Milky Way, and how we can get connected over, to all of these right now. I understand when we are talking, and Sir has given his presentation, we are talking about light years and millions and billions of years, but somewhere we'll have to start, right? If Edison had started his journey at that point of time, today we see a lot of inventions which are an outcome of what he had proposed at that time. Likewise, there are many scientists who had proposed things years, million, 100 years back, and we are bearing the fruits of it. And that's the reason why we both are here, because we want to ignite that spark. We want to sow that seed today so that maybe the tomorrows that come, we will have supremacy over the others in terms of the cosmic worlds, that we perhaps will be then, better off conquering than the other countries. So with that, there are a few facts that I want to also put forth over here in terms of how we have evolved. So we saw the evolution of the universe, the Milky Way, the solar system, etc. Now let's look at some details about what is it that we understand and what will it be linked to in terms of human intelligence. So the first important aspect that I came across when I was studying this topic is the cosmic calendar. This cosmic calendar actually tells us, so within a year, it tells us about how the evolution of the complete universe has happened, how we have evolved through the years. Very interesting. There is a film, a short film by NASA also related to cosmic calendar. And in the cosmic calendar, which is again inspired by Carl Sagan, who has given us that famous photograph of the dot, the Earth, which is a dot which looks so tiny in the universe that you feel that, even though you are a part of the complete cosmos, how little you are. But even though we are little, we are blessed with the human intelligence that makes us very different. And that's the reason why we are on top of the tree, which actually talks about the species, the species of the humankind. We are right at the top because of the intellect we have. And the intelligence that we have today, what I propose and we urge everybody is, let us not limit ourselves to just being a part of the commercial world over here. Just not look at the global world over here. Let's look beyond also, because we are blessed with the intellect to do that. So we also saw that human evolved, and it took years for humans to evolve. We started with a life, below water, and then we went on to move to become mammals, and then from mammals we became apes, and from apes we developed into, the brain, then developed into a human brain, which actually is better, and it conquers everybody that we have. So even though elephants are very big, but we with intellects we can also make sure that they are at our services. This again has been very interesting, because when I was little, I always heard my grandmother tell me stories that, when people pass away, they become stars in the, stars in the clouds. We looked at the stars and we thought that, they were our loved ones who actually went away, passed away from our world. But scientific evidence today says that we actually are stardust. So what this means is, according to the researches that have been done, and there are evidences and proofs that the elements that are there in the stars. So when supernova happens, when a star is dying, it dissipates all its energy into space. It contains all the elements, metals, traces, all of it, hydrogen, magnesium, phosphorus, all of it. And research has given evidence that we humans actually are also having the same elements that the stars have. So that is very interesting for us, because that means we are made of stardust. Now, the important question which comes up is this by chance? It just happened, or is there a purpose? I believe there is a purpose in all of this. And if there is a purpose, which I believe is is what we are looking at right now in terms of all the coincidences and the serendipities that are happening around us. I think the universe, which made up the stars and which made us also of the same element, is trying to think through us. Because if he's created that and he's created us, he's trying to think through us. And that means we have the responsibility to look beyond, right? And this again is a very important element in terms of human resources. Another important aspect which is really interesting, and you must have seen a lot of movies, English movies and also Hindi movie with Hrithik Roshan in it, where we were looking at ETs, extraterrestrial life, and we have a lot of imagination, we have a lot of games, we have a lot of toys that are related to it. But as science and evidence proves, NASA has an institute which it funds called SETI, S-E-T-I. And this institute has renowned names like Frank Drake, Andrew Franconi, well-known figures like Carl Sagan. All of them were a part of the trustee board. And this institute seriously looks at finding extraterrestrial or alien life in the space. Now, is alien life present? Most of the scientists who are renowned, they actually say we should be prepared for aliens because there is a huge probability that there is life outside. One research paper which I recently read, as recent as September 2020, which is published in a very well-known, credible, peer-reviewed journal, says that now with the latest technology and the gadgets and the contraptions that we can send out in the space, in the past, where we could only look at stars, in the radius of maybe 450 Milky Ways or galaxies, now we have extended that search to almost 200,000 galaxies. So if there is alien life, there is a probability that we will definitely be able to meet them someday and then perhaps collaborate with them to have a better life with each other. We are looking at the future of human mind now. Science has evolved so much that now we have moved from the fight, flight, and freeze reactions and responses that we had as cave people to now we are studying the brain in quite details. Even though so many years have evolved, we still don't know exactly how the complete brain functions, how the neurons function, how they connect with each other, what is it that is happening, in the frontal cortex, where memories are stored. We are getting there, but we still don't know how the complete process happens within the brain. So we have a lot of experiments that happen, near-death experiments that, are researched. We know that, people go in coma, have some kind of experiences beyond this. And, we also be researching what consciousness is all about. So all of this will give us a little bit more insight to what we are all about, because like how we all know, our brain is the major computing machine that we have, which is more powerful than anything else in the world. We are the most intellectual species on the earth, but perhaps we have not realized what our competence and what our capabilities are because it's unexplored as yet. With the advancing technologies, we now know that telepathy is possible. So in the past, we were really surprised कि किसी को याद किया, or we were thinking about somebody and that person then calls in the next 10 or 15 minutes or in the next half an hour. And then we always said that, I thought of you with so much shiddat or with so much passion that, you had to call me. But actually that process is telepathy. And right now, science has evolved so much that perhaps in the future, we will not be, needed to use gadgets like a telephone or a cell phone to call people up. We just need to think about people and then connect with them telepathically. That is possible. We also can now control matter. So if at all you are suffering from paralysis or spinal cord injuries in an accident or maybe degeneration of the body, there is a way in which mind can control all the artificial, limbs or feet that you have. So that's also possible. We can in the near future, like how we do in our cell phones, we delete and we create memory, we erase memories, we download memories. We have photographs where, you see your past and you relive your past through the photographs. in the near future, you can do that with your memory. You can actually download memory. These are things that we have seen in films like Matrix, but it is actually possible. And science has evolved. There are experiments related to this, which has given positive results. We are also looking at having human intelligence work with robots, where even the robots will have values, emotions, and self-awareness. Now, this aspect of artificial intelligence perhaps is something that is debated all around the world. If this is possible, then will it be dangerous for us? Is the question. Is it ethically right to do that? Is a question. And this is debated through the whole world, and all the intelligentsia and all the experts related to this field are still working on this. What we just saw is what Sir explained to us is all about the universe, the solar system, the Milky Way. We saw that, Mars missions are there. The red planet is, perhaps we are trying to inhabit the red planet, and we are looking at all the aspects of it. We are looking at the weather, we are looking at the climate, we are looking at what could be planted, what food can be eaten, which part of Mars is habitable. So all of that is being researched. We are detecting gravitational waves, and we are also trying to understand its influence on Earth and the other planets, so that we can then have sufficient data in terms of what is it that will be the next strategic plan or strategic research area that we should take up. Then we are like how Sir said, we track the Higgs boson, that is the God's particle. And NASA, with its Curiosity rover, is now forging new horizons. We are going out in the space where we have never gone before. There are new clouds, Oort's clouds, there are new galaxies, there are stars, there are small starlets. We also saw through the Curiosity rover, there was a nursery of clouds where, baby stars were formed. So all of this is something that we are now researching. We get to know the real picture of the cosmos and the universe now. The major achievements that we've seen so far, we have perhaps founded, or we have exerted, or we have done a lot of research in DNA sequencing, where now we can clone. That was a topic of hot discussion in some years back. We can do cloning, we can do DNA sequencing, we can pick up DNA, strands which perhaps would cause us any illnesses, and we can eliminate it or shut down that DNA strand, and all of that is possible. We have SpaceX, Elon Musk, the famous one. Everybody, all the youngsters know Tesla. We also know that Elon Musk is doing a lot in terms of private space travel. So in the coming future, perhaps we can take our kids, or maybe you can take all the youngsters, the millennials here will be able to take your kids, or the schools will be able to take their, students out in the space for a picnic or something. Or maybe we'll inhabit some planets over there. So all of this is possible. We also have quantum supremacy now. Quantum supremacy is that we have created a computer which is much more powerful than all the classical computers that we have around. The power of computing of this computer is maybe 1,000 or more times more than the classical computers that we have. That means our task in terms of computing, in terms of coming to conclusions about certain things, is become much higher, much more accurate, and it's compressed in time. So the time required is compressed. We can do it much faster. And last but not least, we are come together, and now we are looking at coronavirus vaccines, which are, something that the whole world was grappling with, and within 1 year we could find that vaccine, and now perhaps the world will be a safer place, and we can go about our lives in the way we had in the past. But definitely things have changed, and there are certain things perhaps which will not be the same again in the near future. Things have changed now due to the coronavirus. We have found better ways of living. I would also want to refer to some Indian philosophical thoughts over here, and this is related to the spiritual part of what we are looking at. If you look at the heading, we have always, thought of the whole world as one family, right? So this is a Sanskrit phrase which we as Indians have imbibed through the time immemorial. We know that the world is our family and we've always been collaborating. We have never been aggressive. All of that. Even today, if you see, we have vaccines given to all the parts of the world because, we are heroes. We are the vaccine generating country. And this is a good deed that we are doing without expecting anything in return. So we always have thought the world as our family. But now is the time where we have to look at the cosmos as a family. So you have to go beyond the world and look at the cosmos of a family. And we have to now take a cosmic identity because, like how we said, it's the complete cosmos that can be a world for us in the near future. We have to look into those directions. When we look at the yogic philosophy, we are looking at buddhi, manas, ahankara, and chitta. If you look into the details in terms of Upanishads and some, you'll see all of this on the YouTube because this is discussed by all the educated, enlightened minds. In today's time, what we have noticed is specifically what I think as an educator is we place a lot of importance on intellect. Intellect is analysis. It's the analytical mind. When we analyze things, we cut them into pieces and we look at each piece, to find out more about it. That's the way our intellect works. But we have to go beyond that and we have to be creative. So if this is what we are looking at, this perhaps is not the reality. There could be realities beyond this also is something that we need to now understand. So what our enlightened ones have said in the past is, if we touch upon the chitta, that is the cosmic intelligence, then it opens up dimensions of our mind in all the directions, and perhaps we'll be able to answer many more cosmic questions even without making too much efforts. But how to then get in touch with the chitta is something that we have to find out. We'll have to put sure that there are systems in place where even our children are then educated through a process so that this can happen, with a lot of people, not just a few of them who know more about this. Moving on, we see a lot of global researchers and thought leaders also. So some important ones I want to, highlight over here is, again, this is in sync with what we are talking about in Indian philosophy. I just said in the past slide, we are looking at a universal identity. So there are researchers like Ken Wilber who has given us an integral theory. We are looking at everybody in as a community. So we can then have this kind of theory which can be applied to businesses, to communities, to individuals, to families. And this perhaps, if you have the time and if you have the inclination, this is a good theory to go and look into and then find out which are the nuances that are very close to our philosophies of the world being a family. This is almost similar to what we are speaking about. Then we talk about collective consciousness. Now, this part of collective consciousness is something that we have been practicing all along. We have our temples, we have our religious places where we go, and this collective energy then has a positive impact on all of us. Collective consciousness also means that when something is decided and the whole group of collective people are then, a part of this movement, then it is easy to put in place. And this is something that we've seen a lot when we see revolutions happen, when we see things that need to change. The whole country, today's youth, we have technology, we have social media. It doesn't take too much time to come together and make changes that are necessary in the country, in the world we live, in the communities we live. Then again, there is this research that Tim Urban has done, and it talks about human colossus. Over here, he discusses that we are, as human beings, we are, if we make sure that our collective knowledge and collective intellect is put together, then as a group of ants goes and finds its destination, food, all of that, if our complete human colossus happens, then if you have noticed, if there is a, I have seen those pictures circulating on WhatsApp also, there is a huge shark in the ocean and it's about to, eat the smaller fishes. All the smaller fishes come together and they form um, a imprint of a big fish over there. All of them are small fishes, but they come together and they make sure they form a collection which is bigger than the shark on the opposite side. And this is how human colossus work. Wherever required, you come together. All the knowledge that is generated up till now also needs to be made sure that it is collected somewhere, and then that data mining happens, knowledge mining happens, and everybody is a part of this movement that is going to happen for the future. With that, perhaps we would like to show you a small film where you will also see what Sir had spoken about in terms of, how the Milky Way looks like and how the solar system looks like. And I'm going to show you that video right. So can you see it?
We are able to see the title, but let us see. Not the moving video. Yeah. Now it's coming.
Now?
Yes, fully. There's no volume, but I'm sure volume will come.
It's a little later.
Thank you. Thank you, madam. Thank you very much. This wonderful video is a journey that we tried to explain in whatever slides we have, and I thought a good way to capture what is really, what is the cosmos as it is known to us. There are many things that we don't know, but this is all that we know. So we hand over to you, Shekhar sir. Any comments, and then
Yeah, lot of points to be at least highlighted in whatever was shown. Yes, this cosmic identity through innovation in technology, spiritual emancipation, again, it's a very complex wording, but has a lot of meaning as we go forward. Now, cosmic is something very, very big. At the same time, cosmic rays are something which is, absolutely in less than nano particles. That's what is cosmic rays. Cosmic rays are something which is supposed to be hitting the world at various places, various times, various types and all. I mean, people say that even when Indians say that somebody's place of birth, time of birth is important, it is because people think that at that time whatever cosmic rays hit you is the one which defines somewhere your future. May not be all your future, but somewhere the character which you have, somewhere the type of way you'll have, the type of way your body will behave, the type of way your brain will behave. These are all supposed to be some of those things which also needs close investigation as things go forward. Because we also do not know in what way people 10,000 years back thought of this thing, in what way people knew something like cosmic rays are coming, which is all even today a wonder. That also brings us to one more point, that other philosophy is that there are aliens who are far, far more intelligent than us. And, there are a few authors who have written a series of books called Gold of Gods and Chariots of Gods and all, where they try to prove that every one of the large mythological or whatever we call as old historical details have something to do with aliens coming. Because many of the descriptions which are given in somebody gives 5,000 years back, something like Vayuvahan. one doesn't know how they could have done, because the description is of really today's, even more advanced than today's planes. In fact, that's the way they describe. And how could they describe if they have not seen it in reality? So could it be that aliens are coming? Now come the other point which I mentioned in the beginning also. Now we have to be aliens in some other place, because today as humans we have probably gone above our own saturated level of intellectual work which we are doing, and we have to think far beyond. Maybe we may not capture the outside element if at all any, but we may like to live with others, as at least especially as Indians. We may never think of going into something like a war with some other creature in some other first of all, we have to first identify other places which is similar to us in terms of everything, including the temperature. Even if the plus minus, in terms of cosmic, plus minus even 10,000 degrees is something which is possible. We have to get a place which is plus minus 5 degrees, 10 degrees, then and plus water being there, plus place being there. There's so many things which are too many ifs and buts. But humans have crossed all these ifs and buts. Humans, when their own invention, in their own innovation, as much as nature has shown huge innovation. Like many people say, our own body is the biggest of the biggest supercomputer. Okay, so but we have done supercomputers which are as complex as a human body. We have developed. So that means human brain is now coming to almost fight with nature in terms of, if you have to put very crudely, in terms of superiority. Yes, we would never be more superior than our own creators, that is for sure. But it is good to have, just like a child fighting with the parent in terms of the knowledge. And many times the child is more knowledgeable as things go by than the parents. So we all know about it. Same way we could be somewhere, like that's why even in a human body, we have found our own thing which are slightly defect in the creation. Yes, we have seen some this thing of the body which is not required at all. We have seen something which is the thing. Maybe it is put to the purpose which we do not know in today's knowledge. So coming to conclude our today's thing, this has been an excellent session, which is slightly away from our normal sessions. In the normal sessions are more of an infrastructure, banking, technology, and in terms of education, in terms of this. Here are two educators, and the two, one who is for, an conflict resolution expert, talking of growth through cosmic technology, and another is a knowledge-based evangelist who can spread knowledge in any field, and he talking of a cosmic theory and cosmic way of looking at life. And I'm sure this has to be introduced in these few syllabuses and few. We should also encourage students to do their research on such topics, because this is absolutely required. Even some of my own books I'm writing on borderless countries. I'm writing one on how this combination of things can work out to a human evolution. This is what I'm saying, that when India is going to grow at such a huge population, we need more space. May not be for next 50 years, maybe 100 years. Even by the end of 100 years itself, we'll be saturated. And either we have to stop reproducing, or we have to do something else. We cannot do both. We can't reproduce at the rate of 22. By the time it be almost 30 million per annum. So we cannot do that. Or if we have to do that, we have to find alternative ways. And these type of studies would give us a direction. And because even technologically, since human beings as Indians are very, very strong, and something which will go do a proper justice. Now, I would like you both to give your own few comments. Yes, yes, that's what I want. I want both of you to give your comment before I formally close today's session. Farida, you can start, and Vijay Page can give the second. Yeah,
Sir,
madam.
the slide?
Yeah. Can you see the slide, sir?
Which one? No, no, I can't see the slide.
So let me.
Well, what we are submitting now, I'm grateful to you for having really encapsulated whatever we had to say.
Please.
In the relevant.
Please go ahead.
What we had said that the two questions may arise in everybody's mind when we go through this presentation is, why now? I mean, we have been there for, human race has been there for thousands of years. What is it that has happened that we are now supposed to answer that? Why now?
Correct. Please do it.
Second, yeah. The second question that is before us is, why us? Well, what is it that we in India have to answer. Why is it? We'll just try to answer this together. The
Please
first,
make it full screen, no? Please make it full screen. It's only coming quarter screen.
so why us on this question? I would just submit that.
Yeah.
Historically, we never had this position of the human mind and of the human technology. As I said, we are now the sixth element as far as this earth is concerned. We are trying, because when do you become an element? You become an element when you have the capacity to interact with those five elements and develop a degree of superiority. So we have fought the diseases, we are fighting the calamities, we are fighting nature, we are fighting what we call the ozone layer, as she mentioned. So we are doing that. Also, by tracking the asteroids, by trying to find out how is the Oort cloud sending those comets. Recently there was an item which said that a couple of days ago, a 1300 feet by 130 feet long asteroid came, and it looked like an ET, an extraterrestrial instrument. Because
Yes.
normally when it goes around the sun, there is a certain speed, but this developed more speed than the normal circumvention would do, which means it had what is known as the solar cell, which is not with us. So all these are there very much with us. We are tracking, and God forbid any one of those catalytic events takes place, or something coming from the Oort cloud down to us, I think Earth will develop that capacity. We are today tracking about 3,000 Earth, like 3,000 odd asteroids, which are approaching the Earth. We are tracking 650,000 big bodies. And with the help of the quantum computing, which I mentioned, and you also mentioned, we have now come to that stage that we are able to track those billions and billions. Because, as I mentioned, if we assume that the 110 billion was the total humanity till date, for each human being that was born, there are 10 billion stars available. So you didn't have the capacity to track them. And there are at least 1 billion Earth, like what is known as exoplanets, and almost half of them are now working on the moons, because that also is a better place. So to track this, we have now the computing capability available. So there is the study of the quantum mind, there is the study of the quantum physics and the quantum universe. Somehow they are linked. And if we don't do it now, when are we going to do it? And the second point, which was mentioned, why us? This was the question when everybody asked Mr. Rajiv Gandhi when he introduced the information technology world, and you are a front leader in that. Everybody was wondering, kya zarurat hai Hindustan ko computer? But then he took the country there, and you know the results. We are earning billions. We have made the horse and the elephant fly. We've done everything. Similarly, I believe the time is now for Cosmos, for us to think, to let the children grow, to let them think about cosmic issues, to let them think ahead. This thought of working for the cosmos as a consciousness that you mentioned, and take the humanity to the next level. Madam.
So the way forward, what we urge our policymakers to consider, the new policy for education has come in, and we also urge the policymakers to look into the direction of the cosmos, where perhaps our children from KG to PhD and beyond lifelong learning have opportunities to also consider this as an option of studies. If we do not introduce it in the mainstream, perhaps this, growth of this intelligentsia and these skills that are required out there perhaps will not be possible. So this is an urge. We also want active internship opportunities, and that's why lobbying with various organizations like NASA, ISRO, SpaceX, SETI, all of them becomes very important, because we want our children also to have opportunities for internships and perhaps jobs later over there. We want more of scientists like APJ Kalam and many more whom we had come up. And for that, we need textbooks also to be having components of these, success stories of these, enormous energies and enormous creations that we have through our own country. We want our children to know that we have the capabilities, we have the intellect, but it's just that we are not aware of what we have done in the past, so that we can carry it on in the future. So all of this becomes very important. And some words that perhaps, some thoughts, that random thoughts that have come to my mind, and I have jotted them down. So if political science students are working on constitution, a group of students can also work on what could the cosmic constitution look like? What would be, those sets of principles and rules that perhaps would require to build a cosmic constitution, which all the, individuals on the earth will have to follow, all the countries will have to follow, so that there is the rules and principles are elaborately laid down. Then perhaps like the UNO, we could also have the United Cosmic Organization, where all the countries of the world come together for international cooperation, because right now what we see is a lot of scattered and working in silos that is happening. So could we have one entity that could be a consolidation of all the knowledge that has been generated, and maybe all the countries unite and collaborate within this umbrella of the United Cosmic Organization? Then also in terms of management, perhaps one group of students or institutions could work on what could be the governance of that kind of, supposing if we migrate to another planet like Mars, what would be the governance of that, planet be like? What would be the management be like? Would it be different than what we did here? Because we made many mistakes on Earth, and we are now facing or reaping, we have sown those seeds, and now we are reaping what we have sown. Climate changes have happened, disasters are happening, and most of it, I think, are man-made. So not repeating the same mistakes out there is something that we'll also have to look at. Also, in terms of sustainability and circular economy, what more can we do if we go out of this universe into the cosmos? I'm going to leave you all with some of these thoughts. Perhaps you should encourage your children and the millennials over here, the Generation Z, to look into this more seriously. And I urge you, sir, perhaps to take it at the policy level with the government.
So in the end, I would just say that the Indian ancient system of thought that we have before us, and Patanjali wrote 5,000 years ago that there is something known as the atom and something beyond atom, that there is atom and molecular relationship was explained by him.
Anu.
So in any case, all those knowledge systems have gone dead. They need to be revived. We need to take that. So that congruence has to take place. And we have thousands of people in the Himalayas still praying for it. They're connected with the consciousness. They say that the Purush and Prakriti were one when those geniuses were there. Their frontal lobe was developed. The literatures refer to the presence of Orion at a certain place, from which Lokmanya Tilak said that the place of the Aryans was in the Arctic, because that's where the angle of Orion was there. So all that knowledge is very much there. Somehow we need to rekindle it, reconnect it. So we are, India, apart from the mention that you made of population explosion and the issues that need to be taken, this is an area, as we took up IT in the 80s, we took up cosmology right now, and we will have the answer. Because I just want to end here with your permission, and a small quote हक साहब के लिए, हक साहब है नहीं है, आप ही सुन लीजिए. अभी साजे दिल में तराने बहुत है, अभी साजे दिल में तराने बहुत है, अभी जिंदगी के बहाने बहुत है. दरे गैर पर भीख मांगो न फन की, दरे गैर पर भीख मांगो न फन की, जब अपने ही घर में खजाने बहुत है, जब अपने ही घर में खजाने बहुत है. We have a wealth of knowledge. We have wealth of people who are available, who have the conscious mind developed, thousands of them. We just need to link up and see how Purush and Prakriti can come together to solve the puzzles of cosmology tomorrow. Thank you very much for giving this chance, and we hope and pray that you will convert PolicyTimes into cosmology PolicyTimes in years to come. And people will remember your singular contribution to that. Thank you. Very kind of you. My best wishes to you and Mr. Harris.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having us here.
Thank you so much. So I'll formally close today with your saying and with your blessing and with your thoughts, and also the fact that we have to revive many of the things which, as Indians, we are proud that this has been done before, and somewhere it has been forgotten, and somewhere it also needs to be integrated with latest science. Let us not only gloat about our past. The past should be an indication of future, and past should be a reckoner to the future. Because in today's future, we have to see how our own knowledge of technology, our own knowledge of communication, our own knowledge of whatever we call as the word for word, our own knowledge of the way and youngster things, because in all these things, these are all made for youngster. These are all things which will allow to grow, spread over next, many decades. Nothing will happen overnight. So the seeds have to be shown, like you rightly said. If some good syllabus can be worked out, because the national new education policy is very flexible. New education policy is not like the horse with the shield, which can only look in one direction. It gives enough flexibility, but somebody has to bell the cat. Somebody should have to see that from a long-term point of view and take it to its good and nice conclusion. Thanks to both of you, and let me formally close and let us see for the next week's other program.